Thank you for talking with us today. Uh, just
Pleasure.
to get going, can you please tell us what the premise of Albert's Flower is?
Albert's Flower is what I'd like to call a chamber piece, like a piece of chamber music, where these two people come together, and in coming together due to a set of circumstances, they resolve unresolved trauma. Albert comes to his childhood home looking for, I guess, for redemption, and he finds it in the vehicle of Greta, who is now the present homeowner. And she listens and allows him to tell his story, and that it's framed within this neighborhood and this house, and a particular person who is still around. And by the end of it, this these unresolved traumas whose reckoning is long overdue come to pass, and we see that in the conversation and the relationship between these two people, Greta and Albert and
Mhm.
Albert's Flower.
No, yeah. How did you get involved with producing and starring in this movie?
Long story short, I was doing a play back east at the New Jersey Repertory Theater there, and our director of the play came to me one day and said, "Jim, I have a play I'd like for you to take a look at." His intention was using it as a fundraising vehicle for a lot of the smaller regional theaters who had been hit really hard during COVID, and I had been involved in something similar early on in the pandemic, where some celebrities had gotten together and told original stories or poems or pieces from a script, and they put them together and edited them together, and they used them at various theaters to help promote fundraising efforts. And so he brought this piece to me. It was a play, and it was only about 15, maybe 12, maybe 13 pages long, no more than that. And he said, "Take a look at it, Jim, and see if you think this thing might work." And so I did, and I got through about the first maybe five, maybe 6 pages. And I said, "Oh my goodness," I said, "this is a film." And so I went to Jim Glossman, our director, and I said, "Jim, this is a film. Let me produce this."
Mhm.
And so he said, "You really think so?" I said, "Absolutely." And so we went about the process of turning it into a film. We adapted the script somewhat, but mostly what you see is what was on the page. And I, along with this wonderful, my wonderful co-star, um, Ailish Cahill,
Mhm.
we did this piece, and we shot it in a day back east. And then as we went through the editing process, each time, each iteration that would come up, we said, "Oh, I think we have something here." And so our line producer, Berenice Ruby, said, let's see if we can get it in some festivals." And so we went about putting together a strategy on submitting it to some festivals. And the Montclair Film Festival was the first one that said, "Yeah, we'd love to screen it." And so we're very excited. Actually, the festival starts tomorrow, the 17th, and runs through the 26th.
Oh,
And our short film will be screened on the 22nd and the 25th in the short film block. So we're very excited about it.
no, yeah. I believe this is your first film for your production company. What about
That's
this
correct.
story was like the perfect introduction to your production company for the
I
world?
think yeah, because it was a good question. Because it was small, it was intimate, it was something that we could tell, but not a whole lot of effort and a lot of stuff with it. It pretty much told, it filmed itself almost in a way.
Mhm.
And I thought it would be a perfect way to kind of introduce our company. This is the kind of things that we want to do moving forward. We have a few other pieces, feature length and also half hour and stuff that we'll be introducing. But we thought, what a better way to introduce my company, with my producing partner and I, Christopher Wright, than this film. I thought it was just perfect to do that. And it says a lot about who we are as a company and what our values are and what we like to see on film and what we think other folks would like to see as well. So it was a kind of perfect marriage between the two.
Oh, yeah. So this movie takes place in fall, and that's like a very huge visual component. How does the setting here lend
Hmm.
itself to the themes or the characters of the film?
Yeah, as it turned out, we actually shot it a week before Thanksgiving. and thank goodness the weather really held up. It was crisp, but I'm from back east originally, so it wasn't anything that I was not used to. But I think it lent itself to it put a certain palette on the film, a little gray, but peaks of color that come from fall foliage and everything, but also in terms of the grayness of the purpose of this man. What did he really want to accomplish at the end of this film, and does he accomplish it? Do we know what the resolution is? And I thought that the exterior lent itself, the neighborhood was one that I could see this man navigating as a young person, and the ambiguities around it. The sister's death and what was the backstory behind that, and ultimately our antagonist, for lack of a better term, Day Day character, and how they come together, and what that resolution looks like. And a lot of things that gray area represents. I think that was something that was kind of parallel to the story we wanted to tell.
Oh yeah. The pops of orange were almost like its own character. I was so
Yeah,
mesmerized by that.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, for sure.
So the original version of this is a play that takes place in the 90s with Albert being 19. In what ways do the changes made impact the story?
Well, I think just the fact that we made him an older man. He's older now. We don't we you know we speculate what his past has been from the time he was in this house until now. And do we know whether he was married or not? We do know that he and his sister shared a very close relationship. And then we hear about his parents and their backstory about how the father obtained the house, how he purchased the house, and the circumstances revolving around that. And I think the sense memory of an older man is a lot more impactful. I think we go back and look at the things that were, and as opposed to the things that are now. And I think the man, Albert at his age right now, uh, the things are a lot more important to him. Time is a lot more important. Putting closure on things is a lot more important than when we're 19 or 20, when we're looking more towards, the future is a far, far, far off idea, as opposed to now where Albert is looking at more yesterdays than tomorrows. And I think that was a huge forward momentum for him in telling the story the way we did and why we set it at where the age he is now.
So from movies to songs to episodes, titles hold such a strong impact for the story. What do flowers signify in this film?
Well, flowers are the things in our lives, and at this juncture, for Albert, and I guess also for Greta, are the things that the flowers that go untended in our yard, for lack of the yard signifying their lives, where we are, and how we're impacted by our past. And the past really is not the past. It still functions as part of how we look at ourselves, and how we are impacted by others. And I think the flower represents a time in the past that was joyous, but was also painful for him. And this lamppost represents that flower that
Mhm.
I think that he carried with him until this day. And now he can tend to it. He can either water it, or apropos to how we view ourselves, and the things that we either don't resolve, or we wait, or there's something that's long overdue that we don't need, that we for whatever reasons and painful to address or something. But those are things that that's like tending a garden, and
Oh yeah,
that's what we do.
it's beautiful. Uh, what message do you really hope lingers with audiences that will be soon seeing Albert's Flower?
I think that uh, there's no singular voice, and that folks who see this film, who can identify with trauma or unresolved whether it's questions about who they are, about the things that they've experienced, and that there is substance to that question, and there's a voice to that question, and that they are not alone in their questions, and their reasons why. I think, and I think the past is never really the past. It's something that we continue to wrestle with for our lives, and then it's just how we navigate it. It's how it says a lot about how we view ourselves and how we move forward.
Mhm. So for your production company, do you have specific plans you can talk about or things you can tease that are upcoming?
We've got a couple of things in the pipeline that we're very excited about. We have a feature that we're working on. Actually, we were just starting now. We've got a director and stuff. It's a piece, somewhat biographical on Pete Escovedo. He is the father of the wonderful, iconic musician and percussionist Sheila E.
Oh,
And Pete and Pop, as they call him, Pop Escovedo, was he's kind of the god, not kind of, he is the godfather of West Coast Latin jazz. He's 90 years old, still performing. I just saw him about 2 weeks ago up at the Monterey Jazz Festival. Still vibrant, and his story is wonderful. He wrote his memoirs back in 2019. I read them, and I said there's a wonderful film here. So we're excited to start that process now. And then we have another piece that we've been in talks with some execs from one of the big streaming platforms. Take on the play Driving Miss Daisy. It's a totally different take on it, but the folks here are very interested in this, and so we're about to hopefully move forward with that one. And then we have a half an hour comedy with a young Gen Zer, young African American woman in her 20s who's our protagonist, and it's funny, and it's on a fish out of water story, and we're really excited about that one.
that's exciting. I look forward to eventually getting to see those.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Now on to Grey's Anatomy for a quick second, I
it.
promise.
Yeah.
Just to start,
No,
congratulations on 450 episodes. Uh,
thank you so much.
what does
Thank
it
you.
mean to you to be such a pivotal piece of television history, bringing to life an iconic and beloved character?
I would have, if somebody had told me I would have been a part of something like this 22 seasons ago, 22 years, 21 years, whatever it's been now, I would have said, "Oh no, you must be crazy." But I feel very fortunate. The majority of actors will go their whole careers and never experience what I have. To be part of something that's so iconic and such a part of the culture and the lexicon of TV and pop culture, and to be there from day one, I'm truly, truly grateful and never take it for granted. It's been a hell of a ride, and I've been able to work with some amazing people over the years. Great writing staff, and Shonda Rhimes, who created this incredible juggernaut. I can't say enough about her brilliance, and it's been a fun to do. It's been fun to do. I'm very, very, very blessed.
Yes. Fans are wondering if there will be any new scenes together with Richard and Simone and Lucas in season 22. What can you tease about that possibly?
Well, tonight is our 450th episode, so we got a couple things coming down. Obviously we're dealing with the trauma of the explosion from the finale in last season. And so there's some amazing stuff that's getting ready to happen with that. So I think the audiences will be very excited. But to answer your question, I'm looking forward to doing some more stuff with Lucas and Son and Simone's character, Alexis Ford, who happens to be from my hometown. She's a Clevelander as well. So we have stuff to talk about when we're not engaged in acting. So, but I really like the direction their characters are taking in that relationship. And if I can sneak in there and be part of it, that's always fun.
Would you like to
Hmm.
say to fans and supporters of you and your work?
Just thank you. I've always tried to give reverence to my characters. I've been very fortunate to be part of some amazing work over the years, whether it was film or TV, and I thank the audiences for wanting to take that journey with me, and being so supportive all through these 40 some odd years that I've been doing this, and I don't take it for granted. And without them, that I don't know where I would be in terms of that. And so I appreciate all the fans and who had followed me along this way.